How's it going, everybody? Come to you today to give you my initial review of the Ranger Point. Ah! What is it, Jack? Oh, buddy. How's it going, everybody? Come to you today to do my initial review on the Ranger Point Precision M-lok handguard for the Rossi R92 style rifle. Let me bring you down to the tailgate. We'll have a close-up look at it. We'll go over pros, cons, any and everything that I've thought of it so far with about 100 rounds fired through it. That doesn't sound like a lot, 100 rounds, but you have to remember this is 44 Magnum. So 100 rounds of 44 Magnum is quite a bit. So I think I've got a good beginning baseline to review this Ranger Point Precision. So let's bring it down and have a closer look at it. So as you can see, I've got this side of the rifle pretty much kitted out. I've got the Optic USA 2x4 quiver m-lok attachment, and coming down here I have a section of rail from BCM that is m-lok. You can see here you've got one of your QD attachments for your sling, mounting point here and here and here, and then here's a close-up look of how it is fit up against the receiver of the rifle. It is a very nice looking, very clean rail. All of the machining looks really good. All of the cutouts look really good. The m-lok I have found zero problems with. It's all been within spec. You've got a QD attachment here on the bottom and one on each side. M-lok cut out all along the bottom as well as up here on the side. Okay, you can see here where I have my sling attached through QD swivel. I've got my tape switch attached the old school way with Velcro. All of the machining looks good. All of your cutouts look good. M-lok on the bottom. I think this is just an amazing, I mean, it makes the rifle just look amazing. It really does. The fitment of the rail to the receiver on this side of the rifle. Thing looks great. Functions great so far. Said I fired about 100 rounds of full power 44 Magnum. Most of it 240 grain or 180 grain. It has handled the recoil just fine with no issues. So that is a close-up look of the Ranger Point Precision M-lok handguard for the Rossi R92 series. Let me bring you back out and we'll go over the pros and the cons. The pros and cons for the Ranger Point Precision M-lok handguard for the Rossi 92 is 98% positive. To start with, the pros. It was easy to install. I show complete installation on my video, Rossi R92 Practical to Tactical. You can see how to break the rifle down, how to install the rail on that video. I'm not going to go into detail on it again since I've already got it covered. But it's simple, it's straightforward. If you can work a screwdriver and an Allen wrench, you can do this. So that's pro number one. Number two is it looks amazing. I mean, it makes the rifle look super cool. I really love the looks of it, and it adds so much function to the rifle. So that would be number 3, is the amount of function that it adds to the rifle. The ability to have m-lok, the ability to have a quiver, the ability to have a sling, the ability to have a flashlight, or anything else that you want to attach to it. You can't do that with the regular handguard. So all of that functionality added is amazing. I mean, it really is. It brings the lever action from old and antiquated to actually useful, especially if you live in a banned state where you can't have AR-15s or other semi-automatic type rifles like that. It brings this into a whole new light for those folks. And it brings the lever action into light for folks that just like tactical looking stuff. It's a cool looking gun. It's a cool looking rail. Installation, functionality, looks, all of those. Build quality, I haven't found anything wrong with it. Yeah, super happy overall. Okay, so we've went over the pros of the handguard. Now let's go over the cons. And really, I've got 3 cons for the handguard, and they don't really bother me, but they may bother you. So I thought I would be honest and forthright and show you and talk about what I think the cons are for this handguard. First off is where the QD swivel attaches to the handguard. You can see we're getting some wear on the finish of the handguard and on the finish of the QD. Now, that doesn't really bother me. It may bother some people, but that little bit of wear on the finish is not an issue for me. I know it might be for some because of the price of the handguard. And the price of the handguard is going to be con number 2. This thing runs about $170. Now, that seems like a lot for a handguard, but it allows you to have all that functionality that we were talking about earlier. It allows you to attach a sling. It allows you to attach a light. It allows you to attach a quiver or any other m-lok accessory that you want. You don't have that with the wood handguard. So it brings the rifle into the 21st century, and it improves the looks if you're into the space cowboy rifle look. So it adds all that functionality at about $170. And I know $170 isn't cheap for a lot of people, especially for a handguard. That being said, this gun is in .44 Magnum. I have shot over 100 rounds through this gun since I have installed the handguard. I have spent over $160 in ammo. So you can look at it kind of like that. Roughly 3 boxes of .44 Magnum ammo, if you were to go and buy it, is what this handguard cost. So the cost, although a con, and I understand $170 is a lot of money. It's a lot for me to go and blow on something like this. I know some people can't afford it. I'm not saying that, you know, oh, everybody should be able to afford this, blah, 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 blah. I'm not saying that. $170 is expensive. And that's why I'm listing it as a con. But I've put 150, over 100 rounds, less than 150, but over 100 rounds through the gun. That's that 3 boxes of ammo. I have put more money in ammo than I put in the handguard. And the handguard adds so much functionality. I believe it's worth that price for the functionality. All that being said, I would be much happier if this handguard was closer to the 120 to 140 range. I think that would be a much fairer price than 170. And I know that's only 30 to 50 bucks, but to be honest, in today's world, it's probably a fair price because everything's more expensive. But in my chintzy mind, I think about 50 bucks less is where this needs to be. 125-ish, I think they would sell way more at that price than they do at 170. That's just me. So that's con number 2. And lastly, con number 3, I think, is going to be rifle dependent. And that is where the barrel mount attaches to the rifle and attaches to the handguard. On mine, where the barrel is milled out for the old handguard retainer, their barrel mount and the screw that accompanies the barrel mount had a little bit of play in it from the very beginning. Now, I tightened everything down. I used blue Loctite. I have went back and checked everything, and everything is still tight. Nothing attachment-wise has moved. None of the mounts here on the side, none of the little screws that you use, the little blind pin screws that you use to square up the handguard, none of those have moved. But I've developed a slight wiggle, if you will, in the handguard, and it makes a slight noise. Let me see if I can get it close enough for you to hear. There is some slight movement between the barrel band, barrel mount, whatever you want to call it, and the handguard, which allows it to move under torque. You have to be applying torque to the rifle for it to move. I noticed it while I had the rifle slung, I guess, and was coming up on target and had it really like locked in, just like for trying to get as much accuracy as I could. And I noticed I started getting that, but it's only under torque. If I've just got the rifle slung here, it doesn't make any noise. If I just pull it against the sling, it doesn't make noise. If it's just hanging, it doesn't make noise. It doesn't move under any circumstance, except when you come up and you really lock in and you apply a little bit of torque to lock everything in. That's when it moves. It's not really a con for me. I'm okay with a very slight movement like that. If it becomes more pronounced, or if it becomes louder, I would be worried. But for 100 plus rounds of 44 Magnum, I think it's fine. I think it's settling in. And like I said, I think it's going to be dependent upon each rifle, how much was milled out of your barrel. Mine might have been slightly over milled. The screw I got with it might have been slightly too small. I don't know. But I wanted to be honest, and I wanted to show what some people might consider a con. That little bit of movement, that little bit of sound, only while really torquing and locking into the rifle, I'm okay with. If it gets more pronounced, I would be a little bit more upset. But for right now, at 100 plus rounds, I'm okay. I'll show you from this side. You can kind of see where it's slight rotation. Once again, I'm okay with it. You might not be. I wanted to be honest and show everything that someone could possibly believe as a con. I didn't want to say, oh, this is great, it's 100% perfect, and then someone get mad that their $170 handguard gets a little bit of wear on it, or, you know, it makes a slight noise. So those are the pros and cons of the Ranger Point Precision M-lok handguard for the Rossi 92. You're going to have to look at each one of the cons and see if that's something that would bother you. See if that's something that would affect you. I'm okay with the cons. I am extremely happy with my purchase, and I like it a lot. I have become completely smitten with this rifle. It has been so much fun to shoot. I've been really happy with this build. Last question, would I buy it again? Yes, but here's the thing. If you're not into lever guns, and if you're not into the space cowboy lever gun, obviously it's not for you. If you're looking to build a rifle similar to this, yes, I would buy it. If you're wanting to add functionality to your deer hunting rifle, yes. Some states limit the amount of capacity, the amount of ammo you're allowed to have in your weapon. Having something like this Optic USA quiver allows you to only have 3 or 4, whatever your state law is, and to still have ammo with you for when you go out. If you're a hog hunter, it allows you to have a light. So for hunting application, 100%, I would buy this again for hunting. For self-defense, if I lived in a state where I was unable to have an AR-15, AK-47, SKS, Ruger Mini 14, some other sort of semi-automatic rifle, yes, I would build something almost identical to this for that situation. And I would use that for self-defense, home defense, bug out gun. It's super lightweight. Even set up like this, it's like 7 pounds. I mean, it's super light. Having a 10-round tube and 4 spare on the side, a 44 Magnum, in an area where you're not allowed to have high capacity or limited capacity or semi-automatic, this right here would be an absolute beast for you. So yes, 100% would buy for that. Yeah, I would buy again. My only issue that I think is the price. I bought it at 170. I would feel much more comfortable buying this again at the $125 to $150 range. I think $25 to $50 lower, they would sell a lot more of them. If this was a $125 rail, that makes it very competitive with like a rail or a handguard for an AR-15 or for other style rifles. A $200, $170 rail, some people would say, well, that's a $200 rail. By the time you add taxes and you add shipping and you add this and you add that, and someone has to install it for me because I can't do it, even though it's super simple to install, you're looking at a $200 rail. And for $200, I wouldn't. For $170, I did. And for $125 to $150, yeah, I would be about that. 100%, no problem. So the price is really the only true con or true issue that I have with the rifle. Handguard, not the rifle, sorry. I misspoke. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share, comment. If you have one of these, if you've had any issues, if yours rocks back and forth a little bit, put it down in the comments and let us know. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. I have been extremely happy with this build. I became extremely smitten with this rifle. I really like this Ranger Point Precision M-lok handguard. I think it is kind of the backbone of this build. It is what really makes this rifle look and function as awesome as it does. So thank you, Ranger Point Precision, for making a cool product. If you want to sponsor me and send me cool stuff, I would be all about it. Thank you guys for watching. As always, like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you next time.